This is a painting where the demon Kumbakarna is defeated by Rama and Lakshmana, a folio from a dispersed Ramayana painted in central India around 1670. Today, it lives at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, small enough to fit in your hands, large enough to stage a cosmic reckoning. The Malwas school, conservative, saturated, and utterly direct, uses this tiny page to announce an old truth with startling clarity. Dharma prevails. Before the story rushes in, just look. The first shock is the field of red, raw, flat, relentless, like a curtain of heat against which the figures ignite. Across it sprawls a pink ochre colossus in a yellow patterned skirt and crown, his mouth a white snarl clogged with arrows. Around him a storm of monkeys and bears, swarm, bite, drag. Arrows streak diagonally like lines of fate. Below, a black band, ground or water, carries severed legs away as if the earth itself is tidying the scene. Rama and Lakshmana, composed and blue-skinned, stand on the left with bows drawn. Everything is crisp, edged, emblematic. Even without text, the page shouts, "A giant falls, order returns." The narrative is one of the Ramayana's most brutal episodes. The Ramayana, an ancient Sanskrit epic composed by the poet Valmiki, recounts the journey of Rama, prince of Ayodhya, and an incarnation, avatar, of the god Vishnu, who battles the demon king Ravana to rescue his wife, Sita. Kumbakarna, Ravana's gigantic brother, awakens from his cyclical stupor to defend the forces of adharma, unrighteousness. He devours and devastates the monkey army until Rama, avatar of Vishnu and moral center of the epic, brings him down. Valmiki's detail is unforgettable. Rama severs the giant's limbs and, as Kumbakarna charges with his mouth wide open, fills that maw with arrows before taking his head. It is a parable of strength, appetite, and the limits of loyalty when yoked to a crooked cause. The death of the giant is not just a victory in war, it is a recalibration of the cosmos. Malwa painters understood that the story's power lies in its stark contrasts, and they built a style to match. Where Mughal ateliers in the north often prized subtle modeling, architecture, and atmospheric gradation, Malwa clung to older Hindu manuscript conventions, flat planes of fierce color, simplified profiles, decorative patterning, spatial ambiguity that reads like a stage. Here, the top register blazes red, the lower register absorbs shock in a matte black. There is no hazy distance, no courtly pavilion to mitigate the horror. The composition is cunning in its simplicity. Read it as one would turn a folio. First, the poised brothers, then the gape of Kumbakarna, then the frenzy of animal allies. The giant's torso lies like a horizontal beam stabilizing the page, while the diagonals, arrows, flailing limbs, flying vanaras, monkey warriors, generate a pinwheel of action around his head. Notice the point of maximum charge, the traffic between Rama's bow and the demon's mouth. The page tightens there like a knot. The lower register acts as narrative ballast. Monkeys heave away the severed legs. A single stylized tree punctuates the left edge like a visual comma, pausing the eye before the chaos above resumes. Faces, gestures, and textures do the storytelling. Among these allies, a small but telling variation appears. Some of the Vanara and Riksha bear warriors wear short dhotis, others none at all. Malwa painters used this difference deliberately to mark gradations between the civilized and the primal. The clothed figures, upright and poised, signal discipline under divine command. The bare ones, crouching and feral, embody unrefined strength, newly aligned with Dharma. This play between attire and nudity would persist across Ramayana cycles, from the stylized austerity of Mewar to the soft naturalism of later Kangra, each region adjusting the balance between human and animal, instinct and order, as a mirror of how virtue marshals the wild energies of the world toward righteous ends. Rama and Lakshmana, archetypally calm, embody the sattvic ideal: clarity, composure, purpose, amid noise. In Indian philosophy, sattva is one of the three gunas, or fundamental qualities of nature, representing balance and purity. Kumbakarna's crown and patterned cloth insist on his rank, even as his body betrays it. The Vanara's limbs splay like calligraphic strokes. One tugs a foot, another brandishes a spear. A bear bites the shoulder. Each vignette a small emblem of collective action. There is very little blood. Instead, the painter relies on shape and rhythm to convey violence. The stump forms of arms and legs, the toothed border of arrows bristling from a throat that can no longer roar. Symbolically, the page is dense. Kumbakarna is more than a monster. He is tamas embodied: lethargy, appetite, the sleep that curdles into violence when roused. Tamas, another of the gunas, denotes darkness, inertia, and ignorance. His 6-month slumbers and insatiable hunger are the comic mask of a tragic truth. When strength serves ignorance, it becomes self-mutilating. Rama's arrows are not merely weapons, they are discriminations, acts of insight that separate true from false, limb from limb, until what remains of delusion is a head stuffed with reasons it can no longer speak. The Vanara army, creatures of the border between human reason and animal impulse, models the proper alignment of energy, allied to virtue, disciplined, communal. The style sharpens the message. Malwa's refusal of Mughal naturalism isn't naivety, it's ideology. By flattening space and intensifying color, the painter trades illusion for emblem, psychology for principle. The red field is not the sky, it is rasa, essence, mood, distilled into pigment. Rasa in Indian aesthetics refers to the distilled emotional flavor or mood that art evokes. The black band below is not simply ground, it is the underworld conveyor, the consequence that carries away the wages of disorder. In this world, geometry is ethics. Horizontal stability, Rama's law, intersects diagonal agitation, Adharma's thrash, until the diagonals subside. Place the folio in its historical setting and the choice becomes even more legible. 17th century Malwa courts patronized manuscripts that served devotion, recital, and memory more than imperial display. These were pictures to be handled, read aloud, performed. A page like this doesn't invite the gaze to wander through palace courtyards. It demands that a storyteller's voice animate the action. Every arrow released in time with a syllable. Every severed limb a punctum that keeps the audience rapt. Against the metropolitan polish of Mughal taste, Malwa's painters cultivate a regional austerity that feels almost moral. They make the epic legible as law. And yet, the page leaves room for pathos. Kumbakarna, for all his grotesquerie, is also loyal. He fights because his brother calls. The painter grants him a dignifying crown, even at the brink of annihilation. That decision turns the scene from simple triumphalism into tragedy, the cost of allegiance when justice is not the cause. The red field, read this way, is not only the heat of battle, but the flush of shame that attaches to misguided strength. What, finally, does this little blaze of color say about its time and ours? In the 17th century, political and cultural centers in the subcontinent were fracturing and reforming. Courts negotiated identity between imperial styles and local traditions. This folio chooses a lane. It asserts that narrative clarity, ethical force, and regional idiom can stand against cosmopolitan sheen. It tells viewers that the oldest visual languages, flat color, frontal pose, emblematic gesture, are still the sharpest tools for thinking about power, appetite, and law. So when you close the manuscript and the red field dims, what lingers is not only the shock of dismemberment, but the feeling of a principle made visible. The Malwa painter has turned philosophy into choreography, calm blue righteousness, red frenzy, black consequence, and arranged them in a grammar you can read at a glance. In a world that often mistakes noise for depth, this small page argues for the opposite, that plain forms can carry profound weight. Kumbakarna falls. The monkeys bear his fragments away. The brothers stand. The epic continues, but the point is already made. Order is not inevitable. It is aimed, loosed, and held steady, arrow by arrow, until the giant lies still.